I don't think anybody understands just how truly good the Pittsburgh Steelers are this season. This is a Steelers team that is built to make a legitimate Super Bowl run this year, and they have the ability to beat Kansas City. Let me tell you why. Kansas City this year, they've been in a lot of close, ugly games. And there's no better team that's adapt to winning these ugly games as what Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are. The Steelers are more than equipped to win a dogfight with Kansas City. Now, if it's a shootout, I don't think the Steelers really have a chance because I can't see Russell Wilson balling out against a Steve Spagnuolo defense. But if the Steelers mess around and they play Kansas City in the postseason and Kansas City goes into the fourth quarter and it's a 17-14 game or a 2017 game with 6 minutes left to go, I trust the Steelers to be able to win that game because the Steelers have the team that you need to be able to stop a quarterback as good as what Patrick Mahomes is. They always said that the key to stopping Tom Brady was that you had to get pressure on him. And to stop Patrick Mahomes, you got to get pressure on him. You got to have edge rushers and you got to have pass rushers on the interior that can keep him from escaping outside the pocket and extending plays and pulling off the Houdini magic that we've been so accustomed to seeing him pull off over these last couple of years. You got TJ Watt, who once again, like always, is the finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Cam Hayward is having a career resurgence. Remember when before Cam Hayward got that contract extension, there was some chatter around him being washed up. He was being old. Well, Cam Hayward seems to be aging like fine wine. He only gets better the older he gets. This is one of the finest seasons that Cam Hayward has had. He's been stout against the run. He's also been really good getting after the quarterback. You got Alex Highsmith, who is a good Robin to TJ Watt, but you got a ton of depth on your defensive line as well. Larry Ogunjobi, Nate Herbert, who had a big play against the Cincinnati Bengals not too long ago. If you watch Hard Knocks, you would know that Mike Tomlin, the week leading up to that Bengals game, he was telling Nate Herbert, hey, man, we need you to step up, and he delivered. You got Russell Wilson, who is cooking right now. I, once again, apologize for all of the shit that I talked about Russell Wilson during the offseason. I'm going to be honest. I was full of it during the offseason. I thought that Russell Wilson was washed up. I thought that he was no good. And I thought that the Steelers were going to be getting the same quarterback play out of Russell Wilson that they were getting out of Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and whoever they were throwing out there at QB. But Russ has been the best quarterback that the Steelers have had since Big Ben retired. And it is so refreshing to see a competent quarterback underneath center. When Mike Tomlin made the decision to go from Justin Fields to Russ, I was one of the people that was saying this was a stupid decision. It wasn't going to work out. It was going to backfire in Mike Tomlin's face. But hey, that's why Mike Tomlin is heavily compensated. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, just talking behind the microphone, giving my opinion, because I obviously don't know as much about ball as what I think I do compared to a guy like Mike Tomlin, because this is one of his best coaching jobs in recent memory. And I know that the Steelers have normally done pretty well in the regular season. He's never had a losing season, and come playoff time, you know, he always fails to deliver. But this year just feels different. It really does. You know, if the Steelers play the Bills, or they got to play the Ravens or the Houston Texans in the first round, I trust that Mike Tomlin is going to be able to end his long-standing playoff drought, because you got an offense that you don't have to worry if they're going to get the 17, 20 points. This is an offense that has put up the most points that they have since 2020 team, when they started out undefeated and they fell off the cliff after that. You got an offense that is really good at running the football, and they also are really good at beating you downfield. They beat the Browns today without their best player, that being George Pickens. When it was announced that he wasn't going to be playing in this game, I had my doubts if they were going to be able to beat the Cleveland Browns. But you had a lot of other guys that were stepping up, Calvin Austin, Mike Williams. You know, Arthur Smith has been a really great hire as the Steelers offensive coordinator. There's no wonder why teams are trying to, you know, kind of do their diligence about giving him the second go around as a head coach. Because if you can fix the Steelers offense, you mean to tell me that you don't deserve another shot to be a head coach? And Arthur Smith was not a bad head coach with the Falcons. I thought that he was average. He was mid. What held him back is he was committed to Desmond Ridder. when he should have been committed to trying to get the best quarterback that he could have got. And then look what the Falcons are doing right now. They started out 6-3 and they just fell off the cliff. So it looks like Raheem Morris is no better than what Arthur Smith was. Arthur Smith is absolutely in his bag when it comes to the play calling this year. Yeah, in the red zone, they have their fair share of struggles or whatnot, and there are certain games when you look at Arthur Smith, you're like, oh, okay, Arthur, like, what are you doing now? But Arthur Smith has been a really fantastic hire. And if the NFL ends up, having an assistant coach of the year award, it has to go to Arthur Smith because he has done God's work with what has been consistently one of the NFL's worst 3 offenses in the NFL over the last 3-4 years. Like, Arthur Smith took a bottom 3 offense and turned it into a top 15 unit. This is a efficient offense. Now, is the offense that they have built around Russell Wilson sustainable? We will see come playoff time because he still doesn't really see the middle of the field that well, but they've built the offense designed around Russell Wilson's strength. And although he is nowhere as close to the athlete that he used to be, they are still able to make him a good enough passer. Well, the Steelers got a potent passing attack, and you also got a balanced run game. This is a truly balanced offense, and it has a great defense. And if the Steelers can play their best football over these next couple of weeks, like when they play the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, and they rematch against the Ravens again, when the Steelers are playing their best game, they're good enough to beat anybody. They could beat Kansas City. They got the defense to slow down Patrick Mahomes and company. The biggest Achilles heel for Kansas City this year has been how bad their offensive line has been. The Steelers' pass rush can absolutely destroy them. And offensively, the Steelers can at least score enough points to win you a game. And you got a reliable field goal kicker. You're also really good in special teams. The Steelers this year, why I'm so confident they could make a Super Bowl run, is because they are one of the most complete teams in football this year. They are good on offense. They're good on defense. They dominate on special teams. They are good in all 3 phases of the game. The Steelers have a complete football team. Do they have the most talented team in the NFL? No, but they play true to who they are. They have identity. We're going to run the football. Then when you want to stock the box to stop it, we're going to keep you, at bay by killing you over the top with Russell Wilson's moonballs. And defensively, it's a struggle to get the 20 points against us unless you have a quarterback like a Joe Burrow or whatnot. But if the Steelers do get into a shootout, you feel confident that you can go point to point with them. There were years when if the Steelers gave up more than 20 points, it was a guarantee that they were going to lose. It used to be rare to see the Steelers offense score more than 20 points in the game. Now, it's a common theme when you watch the Steelers play. This is the year for Mike Tomlin to end his long-standing playoff failures. I still got a bitter taste in my mouth from when the Steelers lost to Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette. I still won't forget when Mike Tomlin lost to an interim head coach in the wildcard round against the Cleveland freaking Browns. But Russell Wilson, unlike the quarterback that Mike Tomlin has had in the past when he's been to the playoffs, actually takes care of the football. As good as what Big Ben was, and he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, and he is a Steelers great, he didn't really do Mike Tomlin a lot of favors with all of the turnovers that he used to have in some of these playoff games. Against the Browns, the Jaguars, the dude had like 3-4 interceptions in like the first opening minutes of the damn game. Russell Wilson does a great job of taking care of the football. And even if the offense is having moments when it's sputtering out, I'd rather have a quarterback that's not turning over the football and not putting my defense at a disadvantage than having a quarterback that in the first 8 minutes of the first quarter already has 3 interceptions and already has put me in a 21-0 hole. I think that the Steelers, out of any team in the AFC, they have the best shot at keeping the Chiefs from making it to the Super Bowl this year. Better than the Buffalo Bills, because Mike Tomlin, with his style of coaching, has the perfect mentality to win an ugly game against Kansas City. Kansas City, they may think they like winning ugly, but if you get into an ugly game with the Steelers, I think they greatly will regret it.